This is Callipeg, an animation app running on Android, and it's super fun to use. I've actually talked about it before on the iPad. Now, I started working on this video because they just released Calipeg for the desktop, Mac, and PC. And I was trying those out, and I have meant for a long time, the last year, to go back and try the Android app. I got busy, it didn't happen, but I did now, and I love the Android app. Now, the Mac and the PC app, a little bit more of a mixed bag there. I'll get into all of that. But I had a ton of fun using the Android app, so I'm leading with that.
This is Brad. He likes to review the tech. He also likes to draw. And this here is his theme song.
The cringy theme songs will continue until every last one of you has hit subscribe. So I have a little project here that I'm going to be doing while I talk. I have this little hand character that I'm going to be turning into another little hand character. He's going to jump up and flip around to another position, and I'm going to go over some of the features and the pros and cons of Calipeg while I do this. So first, the details. This is a $30 purchase on Mac or the Windows Store, and it's $15 on the iPad or the Android Store. Unfortunately, there is no demo here. It's tied to the way they're using video and audio codecs for the animation app, and they're a small developer who would be charged for each download, even if it was a free demo download. One cool feature of having apps on your desktop and your mobile device at the same time is that you can export your project from the tablet, import it onto your laptop, and keep working on the same exact project. In fact, these apps are very similar, and they seem to be feature for feature a parody of each other. I'm having a hard time thinking of another app that lets you do that. Now, Calipeg is really, really fun, but I need to say this. There is a learning curve here. It took me some time to get used to using it. There are a lot of things that are hidden from view at first, so my recommendation is go to their site, watch 3 or 4 of the tutorial videos. When you get it, it's going to save you a lot of headaches down the road, trust me. So many of the icons and interface elements aren't like super intuitive. You just don't know what they do until you tap on them. And there are a lot of hand gestures and things like that that you will never find if you don't know they're there. Doesn't take long to learn, but it's worth learning. Now, if you're like me and you are stubborn and you just like to open the app and fool around until you figure it out, here are a few things that'll get you started. 7 things to know before making your first animation in Calipeg. Let's go! 1. If you want to make a new frame of animation, just move your timeline 1 frame and start drawing. It will automatically make that next frame for you. 2, if you want to make your timeline taller, there's only one place to drag up on it, and that is over here on the left side. Took me way too long to figure that out. And if you want to scrub through your layers, the only place to do that is also on the far left side. 3, double tap on any of the frames to make them orange. Once they are orange, you can drag out on the side of that and make it take up more than 1 frame. Also, when it's orange, you can drag it around the timeline. 4, after extending your frame, if you want to slice it, all you have to do is take your stylus and drag up, and you have a new frame. 5, onion skins. There's so many options here, maybe too many. Don't get bogged down in the details. All you need to know is this little icon will turn them on and off for you on an individual layer. 6, drag along the top of the timeline to scrub through your animation. There's also this circle thing on the canvas. You can do that there too. 7, to select multiple frames, you have to double tap with your stylus and then drag over them. There's so much more here, but that should get you started in Calipeg. Okay, before we jump in, if you just got a new tablet and you're looking for something fun to do with it, check out my courses. I have one called Learn to Draw in 60 Days. It's a great place to start. Every day, a new lesson, some homework, it gets you drawing, designed for beginners. Learn more over at bradsartschool.com. So once you get this loaded up on Android and get your feet under you, this feels very intuitive. You just get in there, you draw each frame out. All of the layers and brushes feel like the normal things you'd find in most drawing programs. You can also import images. I did that on another project, and that worked out really well if you have like pre-drawn backgrounds or characters. I mentioned that I wasn't as impressed with the desktop apps, even though they're very, very similar. The main reason is this app works really, really well on a touchscreen. Everything is kind of intuitive. But the deeper you dive, especially into like onion skinning and that sort of thing, the more options there are, and there are more ways there are to like toggle things on and off and change the opacity. All of that is hidden away on the iPad app. So if you really need it and you're willing to kind of dig and find it, you can definitely find it. But if you don't need all of that, it's hidden away and you may never know it's there. A lot of that interface stuff actually comes to the front and is surfaced on the desktop apps, and it actually makes it a lot harder to use. I shouldn't say harder to use, it's definitely harder to learn just because there's more stuff there. It's easy to accidentally turn off just one part of your onion skin and you don't know why you did what you did. The other thing is that this app is really designed for a touchscreen, and so when you use it on a touchscreen, it's really elegant. Most drawing tablets are not touchscreens. The first drawing tablet that I was using with this wasn't. Now, what they've done to kind of get around this is you can use the trackpad on your laptop if you are using a laptop to pinch and zoom and pan around your image and that sort of thing. But if you don't have that touchscreen tablet, you find yourself drawing over here and then moving over here to pinch and zoom and then drawing over here, and it's a lot of back and forth. This isn't really the fault of the app, it's just the ecosystem. If you're using a touchscreen drawing tablet, you're probably going to have better results. In fact, I plugged one in to test it out. This is the Wacom Moving 13, I think. And here, when I was using it on the Mac, sometimes the touch would stop working and that sort of thing. It was probably a bug that I stumbled into because this is new. But when I started this whole project, I started with the desktop apps and I was like, why is this so hard to learn? I've used this before. But overall, my experience is that it's been a year and a half since I've used this program, and I remember it being fairly easy to use when I used it on the iPad. And when I was trying to use it on the desktop, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I breaking things? This is probably more of a me problem than a them problem. But I did find it just so much harder to learn on the desktop for whatever reason. There's a feature here that seems really cool. It's called In-Between Assist that experienced animators are probably going to find crazy helpful. It lets you go off peg, but for beginners or people like me learning a new app, it added a lot of complexity trying to work that out. I decided to just kind of skip over it. And it can really mess up your workflow if you don't know what you're doing. I'm glad it's in there for pros, and I'm glad that it's not like super easy to access for beginners, so you're not going to stumble in there and, mess up your onion skins again. There are 3 apps on the iPad that I think are worth your time, and that is Callipeg, ToonSquid, and Procreate Dreams. I have always kind of gravitated towards ToonSquid. Procreate Dreams wasn't quite ready. I think they're doing too many new things. I thought ToonSquid was kind of a bare bones basic, I shouldn't call it that, a more streamlined animation app, straightforward, you know what to expect. And it had an asset library, which I really liked since I was coming from Adobe Animate, and that's kind of how I'm used to working, especially since I was bringing in like pre-rendered backgrounds and assets. On Android, it's a different story. There's not quite as much. There's Flip a Clip, which it's been several years since I've used that, and I wasn't really that big a fan of that. It probably has improved because a lot of you say it's decent. And then there's Rough Animator, which I actually think is pretty good. It's a little bit cheaper. I like Calipeg better, but that one might be one that's worth checking out if you're just diving into animation on Android. So that is Calipeg. Have you used it yet? What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching the video, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.